Okay, YouTube, I see what you're doing. I like you too. I like you too. I like what you're doing. Normally, I think at the normal time when I go live, that's a popular time for YouTube. But look at that, how YouTube just did that. Right on time with it. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Welcome, 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 man. It's a hot Thursday. You know, Thursdays is hot like fire, man. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. First in the chat, get shouted out. First in the chat, get shouted out without a doubt. Come on in, man. Number one podcast, man. Number one podcast in the land. Number one for geopolitics, domestic politics. Come on into the podcast, man. We got another one today. Yes. We got another one today. Great information. More informative. I got some more informative facts about the shutdown. We're in day 23, October 23rd. Y'all know the cutoff date. A lot of states have issued the fact that November EBT is already, I think it's about 25 states that November EBT is on hold. So they're not funding November food stamps for about half of the states, and the rest of that news is going to come out later this week. What we're hoping for is a resolution by midnight. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, they used to have these resolutions. I remember people would be up watching the news, Tom Brokaw, and then midnight they would come in with a budget. So let's pray. But the thing is that we already have a clean CR. We educated everybody on that yesterday. We already have a budget. This is just Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries playing pickleball, keep away. And it's a shame that 42 million Americans are going to start, but we're going to have a good talk about it today. Everybody, everywhere. Come on in right now. Double tap, hit the like button as you come in. Double tap, hit the like, share, subscribe to your guy. Double tap, hit the like, share, subscribe to your guy. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. It's so important that you do so. It is so important that you do so. Welcome everybody to this hot Thursday, man. Another Thursday. You see that fire thumbnail? The thumbnail game is just, I don't even know if there's no competition with the thumbnail game, man, because I'm making these thumbnails every day. And then every time I put out a thumbnail, I'm like, man, this thumbnail is fire, man. Some of my thumbnails be so fire, I post them up on the community tab. So you got to join the channel, subscribe. When you subscribe, you're going to get this plus sign. When you subscribe, you're going to get this plus sign. Hit that plus sign, join, become a member. We got a $2 holla. We still running the special. We're going to run it all the way through Christmas because, I mean, people need to break in the prices, man. So if you want to join the channel, become a member, I seen CC360 the other day. Happy to see my members still showing up, getting educated. Like, join the channel, subscribe, double tap. First in the chat is Justin Caesar. Good morning to you, Justin, man. Good morning, good morning. Make sure you do regular maintenance on your vehicle to make sure it has long life. Thank you, Justin, for being looking out for the rest of the chat. Thank you so much for being first in the chat and he coming in sharing knowledge and helpful things, because I'm telling you, take care of your car, because you know what I talked about today? You know what I did research on today? I asked about cash aid and child care and Section 8. So what we're going to talk about today, so what you need to understand is that over 25 states have already canceled the EBT. They don't have the money to put out the food stamps for November. That's Thanksgiving going down the drain. So what I said for 42 million Americans, so what I asked when I did my research, I was like, so what about cash aid? Because these are all federal programs. A lot of people say that we live in a socialist, democratic, quasi-socialist democratic, because we have all of these programs, Social Security, Section 8, Medicare, all these things funded by the federal government. Shout out to Ms. Perf Time, and thank you for coming in. So I want to know how long can we go? Now remember, give context, good context. We had day 23 of the shutdown, right? October 23rd, that's the cutoff of food stamps. The longest shutdown in history was 35 days under President Trump. Ms. Perf Time, you know what I researched this morning? I researched this morning cash aid, child care, and Section 8. What is the status of cash aid for November? And so before TikTok, it was just a joke. Oh, no EBT, no food stamps. I don't think it's really hit home yet. I said winter is coming, but I don't think, see, so everybody's playing around with this on TikTok like it's a joke. It's not a joke. I don't know how many people are doing their job and really being politically advantageous to find out what's going on. So food stamps have been halted for 25 states as of today. So what I did on my research is I want to know, what about cash aid? What about Section 8? What about housing programs? And one of the most important things to keep up this, remember, we're MAGA. Remember, we're MAGA Republicans. We're for the Heritage Foundation. We're for Project 2025 because we want fathers and families. So please pay attention, because you need to understand what Chuck Schumer is doing and the goal of the MAGA Republicans. So what happens with the child care? When child care goes down, so right now, EBT, everybody's laughing because they're making videos that, oh, I'm gonna just go steal my food. But you can't steal child care. Can we have an honest talk this morning? You can make a funny TikTok video about how you're gonna go steal food and you're gonna run into Walmart and I'm gonna take my food and all of this silliness, but you can't steal child care, right? You can't steal a home to live in. You can't steal those things. You can't make a funny video on TikTok if you're evicted, right? And HUD and Section 8 are federal programs in this quasi-socialist government that we live in. So it is very important to understand that when the federal government is shut down, all of these programs are affected, and it's going to hit home to everybody, and it starts today. Remember, I read to you those messages. Salute to my brother, Big Daddy Beer Gaming. I read to you those messages that went out yesterday via text. So what is going on with the cash aid, right? I would like to know what's going on with the cash aid. I'm sure everybody wants to know what's going on with the cash aid. How long is cash aid funded? Now, when we talk about the different branches of government and why we don't have a budget, the clean CR, Congress's job, how many people understand where the money comes from? When the money goes, will the honey stay? I said, when the money goes, will the honey stay? How many people understand where the money comes from? How many people truly understand where the money comes from? Do they understand that there's federal programs? Do they understand that it's a federal government that's different than the state? You get an IRS check, right? You get a state refund and you get a federal refund. Some things are funded by the state, but then the things that are funded by the state, because a lot of states are in a deficit. Remember, I showed you Gavin Newsom in California are in a $1 billion deficit. Remember that. Remember the mayor of Chicago in Illinois also in a $1 billion deficit. Remember the mayor of Chicago said, Trump, we don't want you here. We need $1 billion because we're running in a deficit. You didn't realize that, right? So a lot of the subsidies that are coming into the state are coming to be subsidized by the federal government. How long does the state, when does the state start to cripple without funding from the federal government? And I'm talking about the poor states, and not just blue states like California, but poor red states that depend on federal because they don't have a lot of population. There are a lot of red states that have a low population that don't collect a lot in taxes that depend on the federal government. When does the shit start to hit the fan? Beyond food stamps, because for some reason people think the food stamps is a joke. Status of shutdown. The shutdown began October 1st after Congress failed to pass a fiscal year 2026 budget. Non-essential services are halted, affecting 800,000 federal workers unpaid and delaying payments for veterans. Did you know veterans were being delayed payments, contractors, and more? Talks remain stalled with White House Speaker Mike Johnson rejecting short-term funding extensions without concessions on border security. And we've been saying that for the whole time. Recent developments on October 22nd, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer criticized the Trump White House for prioritizing a $250 million East Wing ballroom renovation over reopening the government. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that $80 million in emergency aid for food banks and National Guard deployment to assist distribution. So wait a minute. Gavin Newsom is going to use the National Guard, but Trump can't use the National Guard. Gavin Newsom pulled $80 million out of his ass, but where's the $100 million that was for the fire victims? Man, I'll tell you about the Democrats, man. So now Gavin Newsom is saying he's not going to, and why not just fund the food stamps? So Gavin Newsom is saying that He's going to spend $80 million. Did you know how much was spent by California on that special election for those 5 seats? Shout out to Jasmine Crockett. Do you know how expensive Jasmine Crockett is? You know, people tried to beat up on Stephen A. Smith the other day because Stephen A. Smith made a righteous criticism of Jasmine Crockett. Do you know how expensive it is for the Democrats to have someone like an AOC or a Jasmine Crockett who is completely incompetent? Jasmine Crockett is completely incompetent and completely political theater, nothing but show. She's all show, right? Do you know how much money Democratic taxpayer dollars is going to cost you for that stunt that Jasmine Crockett pulled, where Gavin Newsom has already spent $230 million on a special election to get those 5 seats? But let me explain to you something. This is why this is happening, because people don't understand about the clean CR, about the budget, appropriation bills, what Congress's job really is. Let me explain something to you. Right now, we are in MAGA country. Can I get an M-A-G-A in the chat? Can I get an M-A-G-A? M-A-G-A. We in MAGA country right now. Do you guys understand what's going on? I don't think you guys really understand what's going on right now. What? Let me keep reading. 250 million, 80 million in aid to food banks. So Gavin Newsom wants to give money to food banks. It's just the same solution. It's a Band-Aid. So give money to food banks, but I thought you told the California people they could steal up to $1,000. So California, you can steal up to $1,000, and Gavin Newsom's giving 80 million to food banks. That's his answer. At least 25 states. Now listen to this. Listen to this. And he's going to use National Guard to deploy the food. Why would we need National Guard to deploy the food? Do you guys understand what's going on? Do you guys understand the climate that we're living in? Because they understand people will be hungry, and when people get hungry, they might get violent. Things may get bad. I said winter is coming. Now, why would Gavin Newsom need soldiers with guns to pass out food? We are not having an intelligent conversation. Too many jokes, too many trolls. When is America going to get serious? I think America is going to get serious in the next couple weeks, and I'm going to love it. I am loving this. This is why I voted for Trump. This is why I voted MAGA. This is what MAGA wanted. This is what I wanted. This is what I voted for, and it's even better than I thought. It's even better than I thought. We got ICE in New York. Today's topic is MAMDANI versus CUOMO, and I swear to you that people, I said this is the #1 political, back at it like a crack addict, automatic like a foamatic, built for tragedy, made for static. It's your boy, Perfect Timing Podcast, back with the blast, in and out with a dash. 2025 won't last. We're going to get this done fast. Woo! I said we in the driver's seat. MAMDANI versus CUOMO. Now, I've been breaking down to you CUOMO because it intersects with a lot of the conversation that we've been having, right? What did I say to you about CUOMO and the Democrats? I said the Democrats have nerve. Remember when I said the Democrats have nerve? The Democrats want to point the finger, but I broke down the history of CUOMO in the governor's office, and the Latia James, who's going to be prosecuted by Pam Bondi, investigating Governor CUOMO, now mayoral candidate for NYC, and finding that he was guilty and there was enough evidence to prosecute him, but they did not prosecute CUOMO for sexual harassment. But isn't it funny, after I educate my audience and this great debate takes place, what does MAMDANI do? MAMDANI pulls out the Perfect Timing Podcast card, and then he goes right to CUOMO sexual harassment. And he asked the question that MAGA Republicans have been asking to the Democratic Party. CUOMO wasn't good enough to be governor, but he's good enough to be mayor. Please explain that to me. Please explain how CUOMO is a creep. CUOMO touches on girls and women. 11 accusers. CUOMO had 11 accusers. Latia James, head of SDNY. Please remember these names. I know I'm talking ahead of a lot of my audience because a lot of my audience is intellectually inferior to me. But please remember these names. Latia James, who is prosecuting, who prosecuted CUOMO, right, is the one being indicted by Pam Bondi. Latia James, SDNY, also turned a misdemeanor into 36 felonies. Latia James also fraud on her FHA, Fannie Mae mortgage paperwork, same as Adam Schiff. The chickens are coming home to roost. So what I talked about all week is the hypocrisy of the Democrats. And I think it made it over to MAMDANI's campaign. All week I've been talking about Cuomo. I brought it up. I said, we read it here. I educated my audience just to show the hypocrisy of the Democrats. I read how Letitia James did an investigation into Cuomo. We read how there were 11 accusers of Cuomo. We read how there was a quid pro quo where it said, Cuomo, if you step down and make Kathy the first female governor of New York, and make Kathy the first female governor of New York. See, with Kamala, they did, the Democrats been running plays. Everybody want to know about Kamala Harris and why and who, and it didn't make sense, right? It didn't make sense how Kamala Harris' campaign went, right? How they ran a blitz from the side. J-Lock 499 coming back from Roger Bible study after party. LOL, shout out to you, man. Yeah, man, Bible study was on hit today and yesterday. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Roger Report. If y'all want to hear more content from me and brothers like me, subscribe to the Roger Report. We're over there daily having great conversations and just more of the same, man. Thank you, J-Lock, for the Cash App. Thank you for the support, and thank you for being a member of the Roger Report panel. And it's great to see you here at the Perfect Timing Podcast. So we started off talking about the government shutdown, because we're going to link the government shutdown, Cash A, back to this great debate. And I'm going to show video clips from the debate, MAMDANI versus Cuomo. And the great thing about this podcast and the opportunity that I've been granted to do this is that we really do our research, we do our homework. So we laid the foundation. All week we've been talking about the Democrats' hypocrisy and Cuomo, because it's like people just forgot that Cuomo used to be governor and why he's not governor, and how the current governor of New York actually became governor. First female governor of New York. Same thing they tried to do with Kamala Harris. They wanted to install Kamala Harris, first female president. It worked in New York. Why wouldn't it work in the White House? I said it worked in New York. Why wouldn't it work in the White House? We got Trump on 36 felonies. The same thing we did with Cuomo. So we got Trump on the RICO with Fani Willis. The only thing is that it all broke down because it was all fluff. The 36 felony case broke down. The Fani Willis RICO. Fani Willis was invited to the White House by Kamala Harris. Y'all didn't know about lawfare. So lawfare is talked about today, but not talked about when it came to Letitia James, right? Not talked about when it came to Cuomo. Did you know, I read yesterday that part of Cuomo's, I don't know if it's a quid pro quo or it's an actual adjudication, but one of the things that happened to Governor Cuomo is he was barred for running from office. Yeah, there are certain agencies that equip you and allow you to be a politician. Well, after Cuomo's investigation and 11 accusations, he was barred from running from office. Right now, today, I'm wondering, how is Cuomo running a campaign post his adjudication? I don't want to say conviction because he was never charged. Diddy is in jail. Diddy is in jail for being a John. Diddy was acquitted for charges that Cuomo would be found guilty of, but Cuomo was never charged. Diddy was acquitted. Do you guys understand? Diddy was acquitted. Diddy is not guilty. He was guilty of being a John, of purchasing. But Cuomo had 11 women accuse him, but never charged by Letitia James. Cuomo was allowed to leave the governor's house, but he couldn't run for office again. So what I've been saying all week is, how is Cuomo running for mayor, given his adjudication, and why are the Democrats supporting a creep like Cuomo when you throw black men in prison? So black men get thrown in prison for sexual harassment, but Cuomo gets to run for mayor of New York. This is hypocrisy on the highest level. This is hypocrisy on the highest level. And this is just like Kamala Harris. I believe the Democrats want to lose. The Democrats make so many monumental mistakes. The only thing I can extrapolate from their decision making is that they want to lose and they want to be embarrassed, because why would you run a Cuomo? Really answer me that in the chat. Why would you run a Cuomo given his recent history and how it will reflect poorly on the Democratic Party because of his tenure, because of his father? I don't understand why the Democrats, why would you run Tim Walz? Why would you run a Kamala Harris after and knowing that Kamala Harris failed as border czar, Kamala Harris would get wrung out to dry over the border crisis. And when you knew that Kamala Harris did not have the support of the Democratic elite, it was nonsensical to push Kamala Harris out there knowing all of these truths. And I know Democrats had to know it, but they simply ignored it. It makes no sense to run Cuomo if you are trying to say Trump is a bad guy. If you want Trump to be negative, I don't understand why you would put Cuomo back on the stage and give individuals like me the opportunity to point out the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party, because all it does is allow intelligent people to create a juxtaposition. You want to say Trump is this, I can say, holy moly guacamole back, man. They got Cuomo. How can you talk about my Trump when you are running a creep, a PDF, 11 accusers? We saw him on tape kissing and hugging little girls, just like Joe Biden. Y'all remember them videos of Creepy Joe? Can I get Creepy Joe in the chat? Who remembers the videos of Creepy Joe hugging and kissing little girls? Well, Cuomo had similar videos, and we all were disgusted, so much so that we were good with Cuomo stepping down from the governor and allowing the first female governor to become governor of New York without an election. Don't that sound familiar? The first female governor of New York took power without an election. You know, the Democrats have a playbook. Did you guys know that the Democrats have a playbook? And the playbook, sadly, doesn't have anything to do with democracy. I said the Democrats have a playbook, and sadly, the playbook doesn't have anything to do with democracy or what's best for the American citizens, their constituents. Remember, I talked to you about how you do politics. Constituents. The politicians are supposed to build consensus among the constituents. They don't do that. Democrats didn't listen to us. Biden didn't listen to us. Kamala didn't listen to us. No, they called us homophobic. They called us racist. When we didn't like Democratic policies, we were called homophobic and racist, and they ignored us. Why you think Trump? Listen to what I tried to explain earlier. The Republicans hold the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Do you guys understand how bills and policy is passed in America? I'm going to say this again for everybody in the cheap seats. The Republicans, we gave the Republicans a mandate because we didn't trust Kamala and Biden. And the Republicans have came in doing a great job getting a lot of work done. We gave the Republicans a mandate. The Republicans have the ability to pass things like the big beautiful bill. And all the Democrats can do is shut down the government because they have no true political power in this season. And it's because they lost it. This is not like a cartoon episode, right? The American people get a choice. This is the greatest country in the world. We voted for Biden and Kamala, and they failed the American people. They failed so bad that the American people in November of 2024 voted overwhelmingly, over 80% for Donald Trump. But they didn't just vote for Trump. They voted for a Republican-led House and a Republican-led Senate, and we have a right-leaning Supreme Court. So what you've seen in this first 6 months of a MAGA presidency, can we say MAGA in the chat, is so much productivity, it's making the Democrats' head spin. You think they're shutting down the government for you? They're shutting down the government to slow the momentum of the Republicans in MAGA. They got the big, beautiful bill passed in a week. The big, beautiful bill was $1 trillion bill. We can even argue over the legitimacy because I'm not a multimillionaire. I won't get a tax break, but Nancy Pelosi will. And Nancy Pelosi didn't fight the big, beautiful bill. You know, the Democrats now are saying they're shutting down the government because they don't want things in the big, beautiful bill that already passed. But it's odd to me why AOC, why Bernie Sanders didn't have a town hall discussing and educating Americans about the big, beautiful bill and the tax cut that Bernie's going to get. Because Bernie's getting a tax cut. All the millionaire Democrat elites will get a tax cut from the big, beautiful bill, but they didn't hold a town hall for that. They want to blame the government shutdown on the big, beautiful bill, but they didn't vote against it. Do you guys remember? I remember. It's my job to remember, but I'm just reminding you of the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party. SNAP operates as an entitlement. Do you guys know that? EBT is an entitlement. It's not guaranteed. It's not something you have to have. You need to pay attention to what's going on because Doge and MAGA Republicans want to change these things. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. We want to get rid of Head Start, programs that do not actually benefit the Americans but cost a lot of money. They're Democratic pitfalls and pit holes. Listen to this. SNAP operates as an entitlement, but shutdown logistics have frozen the process. States typically send recipient data to EBT vendors mid-month. Mid-month. This is why you're losing your EBT benefits for November. Remember, I read to you, listen to this, at least 25 states. Listen, you guys, at least, and this is today, no one is talking about this, everybody's making a joke about it. At least 25 states, including Texas, New York, Illinois, and Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma, have issued alerts about program disruptions. 25 states as of October 23rd today is not doing food stamps. But November benefits cost $8 billion, leaving a shortfall. So check this out. The USDA holds $5 billion in SNAP contingency funds, but November benefits cost $8 billion, leaving a shortfall unresolved. Some people's not going to get money. Some people going to get funded at 60%, but that's not just the whole story. That's not the whole story. Listen to this. November benefits halted in 25 states. Unclear nationwide. And if you need to be calling your state representative right now to find out if your benefits are on hold. Because I read a list yesterday. We don't got time to go through the list today, but I'm telling you, benefits have been halted in 25 states. Unclear nationwide. Contingency funds may cover partial payments up to 60%, but many states lack bridge funding. Listen to this again. But many states lack bridge funding. Delays could last weeks. Post-resolution due to backlog, new enrollees and applicants frozen. So new applicants is not getting nothing because they don't have nobody working at the welfare office. Check this out. Up to 42 million at risk. Average $187 a month per household hits families harder per Thanksgiving. Food insecurity up 13.5% since 2023. Food banks overwhelmed. Colorado, 600,000. Impacted in Texas, 3.5 million. I did not know because they always say Texas got great jobs. How many people knew 3.5 million people in Texas have EBT? So all states operational. Let's see, November. Cutoffs are confirmed in Maine, New Jersey. So write this down because I didn't have a list. Hey, Mr. Perfect Timing with the super chat. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Everybody see a chat, send the chat, man. So we ain't got 2 super chats today. I love you guys, man. I don't know what to do but say thank you. I truly appreciate it. So I know you guys need to know this information, so please write this down, share it with your family members. The cutoffs have been confirmed in Maine, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, okay? Those are the states that have been confirmed. They're not getting EBT in November. And warnings in California, Colorado, Illinois, New York. For example, California is deploying state aid. Retailers can't renew EBT licenses, limited accepting points. Wow, I didn't even think about the retailers. So think about this, you guys. So we're talking about the people being affected, but I just read that retailers, you know how KFC, Pizza Hut, everybody has out the outside EBT. We accept EBT. So I guess this is a monthly thing. I didn't know that. How many people understood how EBT worked? I've never used it. I don't know, but I guess, because I always thought it was odd that you could buy Pizza Hut with EBT, but that's something that changed under Obama. So now you can buy Pizza Hut with EBT, right? And I guess retailers can't renew EBT licenses, limited accepting points. Wow. So you don't have EBT to buy Pizza Hut anymore, but it seems like Pizza Hut license will be on hold until the government opens back up. That is crazy. I didn't know. So now not only the consumer is affected, but retailers are being affected by this government shutdown. WIC, oh, Miss Perfect Timing. I didn't even think about WIC. How many people have WIC? Oh man, WIC. Similar halt, $1 billion shortfall projected. So WIC is also on halt for November. God, this is not good, everybody. There's so much to unpack. I didn't know. We're going to talk about Section 8. We're going to talk about cash aid too. But I'm just expanding the conversation from EBT. So now, similar halt for WIC. Other programs, heightened work requirements under Trump amid admin could disqualify more post shutdown. So this is not just about the shutdown. This is about Trump wanting to get rid of programs like WIC. So now you heard about Pete Hegseth in the requirements for the Army. So now WIC is going to have more vigorous requirements. So now people are being put off of WIC, but this is not the whole story. What I'm hearing here is that when you come back onto WIC, it's going to be more difficult to qualify. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Wow. Please share this information, everybody. Write this down. So WIC is on pause for November, but that's not the biggest part of the story. Heightened work requirements under Trump admin could disqualify more people post shutdown. So you may get kicked off of WIC if you don't meet the requirements because they're going to get more stringent after the shutdown. So that makes the program smaller. This is Doge. I hope you guys understand that there is something, but this is Doge, right? That after they open up the government, the food stamps is not going to be funded at the same rate. Donald Trump is going to be cutting these programs. Remember, he said we want to send out a box. Donald Trump, during the first administration, said we're going to move to a box. He said in the first administration he wants to get rid of food stamps. So look at Jeff Buckley said, good. This is what MAGA voted for. There's a meme on X that said, are you happy with Trump? And I am happy. I am ecstatic. This is what MAGA voted for. Fathers and families, not food stamps. Can I get it in the chat? Fathers and families, not food stamps. Can I get that in the chat, please? Fathers and families, not food stamps. That's what MAGA voted for. Double tap, hit the like button. Everybody watching right now, not enough likes. We need 100 likes 5 minutes ago. Double tap, hit the like button. Broader fallout. I want to talk about cash aid. So I know that's why you all came here, is to find out about the cash aid. Yes, cash aid programs like temporary assistance for needy families, TANF. Do you know they ask you, has anybody in your house, when you go to apply for Walmart, anybody work for Walmart? Because Walmart jobs are subsidized. Did you know that Walmart, even though it's $7 an hour? So when you apply for a job at Walmart, they ask you, are you on TANF, or is anyone in your house receiving TANF, or have they received it in the past 12 months? Why do they ask that question on a Walmart application? Why do they ask that question on a Walmart application? Because the government is going to subsidize the employee. Let's get back to that. But that won't happen anymore. That federal subsidy that Walmart gets, that's talked about the retailers. That's going to be, come on, let's listen. Cash aid programs like TANF, the primary federal cash assistance for low-income families with children, are facing significant risk due to ongoing federal shutdown. Now, in its fourth week since October 1st, unlike SNAP benefits, which have some multi-year contingency funds covering October, but not fully for November, TANF relies, listen to this, on annual block grants to states that are more vulnerable to funding lapses. While October payments are largely secure, November and beyond could see interruptions, delays, or shortfalls. Did you guys know, the people making those TikToks, did they know that cash aid is possibly going to be delayed? See, they didn't make a video about the cash aid. This is the first time I'm hearing about cash aid, and I'm sharing the information with you. TANF relies on an annual block grant to states and is more vulnerable to funding lapses than EBT. It's more vulnerable than EBT. While October payments are largely secure, November and beyond could see interruptions. What you guys don't understand about this shutdown is that even when the government opens back up, it's not magical, right? The government is not digital. In a lot of places, it still uses paper. So it's going to take a lot of time to get back up to speed and pay everybody like they were paying everybody before, because people are off work. people haven't done their job, so everyone has to come back. There's going to be a backlog. Do you guys understand? When everyone comes back to work, there's going to be a backlog. So so when the government opens back up, it's not magic. Everything doesn't go back to normal. And that's not the design. That's not the design. I just explained to you, WIC is going to be more stringent. You may have more requirements for welfare and cash aid. Listen to this. While October, okay, we got that. November and beyond can see interruptions or shortfalls if Congress does not pass a funding resolution soon. Congress already passed the Clean CR. This affects about 2 million families nationwide, with states scrambling to bridge gaps using their own resources. Key impacts to cash aid. TANF provides direct cash grants, often $200 to $500 per family for essentials like rent, utilities, clothing, plus job training. Shutdowns halt federal disbursement to states, but outcomes may vary state due to flexibility on how TANF is administered. This is code. So SSI is not affected. So it says here, a lot of people have SSI or your grandmother, and it says unaffected for November, but verification letters for housing / fuel aid are delayed. I don't know what that means. Can somebody tell me in the chat, what is a verification letter for SSI and fuel aid? So I guess SSI recipients get gas cards or something. Those will be delayed in November. So how do you get to your doctor's appointment? If you're disabled and you're counting on the cash, if you're counting on the gas card to get you gas to get to doctor's appointments, I don't know how that works. It serves 7 million elderly disabled, no direct cuts, but access to supporting services slows down starting in November. This is what's not being talked about. State-specific examples. Listen to this. Kentucky, please write this down, everybody. I want you not to be in pain. I want you to have the information. Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear confirmed November TNA funding is delayed. This is not a joke. So cash aid in Kentucky. So EBT is gone. Food stamps is gone. Now I am the first person talking to you about cash aid. Now I'm giving you state specifics. Kentucky has said that TANF funding is delayed. I said there are red states that don't get in a lot of tax revenue, and it's going to hit hard. TANF funding is delayed, but will be covered by state dollars with federal reimbursement expected later. That's Kentucky. Maryland, temporary cash assistance, TCA services continue uninterrupted via state maintenance of effort funds. So now the states are going into their own coffers to pay cash aid with the expectation that Trump is going to pay them back. I don't know about that, you guys. How do you think that's going to work out? Border warnings. At least 10 states, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, have alerts similar to SNAP's noting potential halts for cash programs. I'm going to say that again. 10 states have already sent out notification to cash aid recipients that there will be delays or no cash aid in November. Anti-poverty groups like CLAPS predict interruptions to payments for families relying on, I'm going to read that one more time. Anti-poverty groups like CLAPS predict interruptions to payments for families relying on TANF, not just the food stamps. Broader context of federal block grants stop during shutdowns. So this is why TANF is affected, because it comes from a federal block grant. Federal block grants stop during shutdowns, forcing states to issue reserves or delay aid. Past shutdowns, 2018 and 2019 saw cash aid delayed in 15 states. Now, I think we need to have a real talk. We are in day 23. This is the second longest government shutdown in history. The longest government shutdown was 35 days, and that was under the first Trump administration. How long do you think the shutdown is going to last? And now that, and as you think about that, keep in mind, During the last government shutdown this long under the Trump administration, cash aid was delayed in 15 states. I'm not making this up. I am telling you the truth on the ground. This is not just about TikTok comedians. You guys need to be careful who you watch on TikTok and who you make relevant, right? Because they are laughing at you. I don't even think they get food stamps. All those TikTok people who made those videos. This is not about TikTok videos and comedians. We're not talking about cash aid right now. We're not talking about food stamps. We're talking about 15 states did not receive cash aid during the last shutdown. So this is a real possibility, because I believe possibly this shutdown could last longer than the last shutdown. And then the last shutdown, 15 states did not had delays with cash aid, spiking food bank use by 25%, with the one dragging on amid partisan fight over spending cuts in immigration. Experts warn of a benefit gap hitting vulnerable families pre-holidays. We've been talking about it. Yeah, this is going to hit families during the holidays. It's the holidays now. Halloween, Thanksgiving, it's the holidays now. Public sentiment. Recent posts highlight frustration, noting government shutdown save the EBT still need to fill cash aid government pack not much money. Okay, no job, tying it to jobs and fear loss. So we already talked about 300,000 women got laid off. Remember the government jobs. Trump closed the Department of Education. This is a horrible time for this to happen. Please, somebody tell me why Chuck Schumer is doing this. Please, somebody tell me why Chuck Schumer thinks this is a viable tactic. Why does Chuck Schumer think this is a viable political tactic, knowing the hurt it's going to cause and knowing how difficult it will be to get back to pre-shutdown levels when it comes to these type entitlement programs? Why is Chuck Schumer doing this? When you break down how bad it is, you can understand. I'm a MAGA Republican. Listen to me. I am a MAGA Republican. This is what I voted for. This is a Brexit conversation for anybody who's still voting Democrat. Why are you voting Democrat? I mean, seriously, why are you voting Democrat? What do you get out of I voted for this. I want fathers and families, not food stamps. But if you vote Democrat and Chuck Schumer is throwing you under the bus, why are you voting for him? This is what Brexit is all about. George said, I'm not voting. Well, George, I don't advise not voting. I advise being politically advantageous and knowing the facts, right? That's why I'm giving out these facts, because I don't want Americans to be ignorant, because when you're ignorant, that's how the Democrats get power. They fearmonger. George, you may be new here, but the Democrats depend on people like you not voting and your ignorance so they can run Cuomo for mayor, right? So you don't vote, right? And then you don't pay attention and you don't care, right? So then a creepy PDF gets to go from governor to mayor. That's how it happens, George. That's how it happens. When people are saying, how is Cuomo running for mayor of New York after just recently going through that Me Too and criminal investigation? It's because people don't vote. And the people that we need to vote, if you're here, you got good sense. You probably lean right. You may not like everything that MAGA says, but you don't want to vote for MAGA. You don't want to vote for Democrats, but you leave an opportunity for people like Cuomo to sneak back in, because we need you to vote. We need you to say no to Cuomo. We need you to say no to Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer been in office 30. See, when you don't vote, that's how Nancy Pelosi stays in office for 35 years. Dianne Feinstein dies in office. Who's the real royalty? Who is the real royalty? The Democrats are the real. So let's talk about Section 8. We're going to get to MAMDANI, because MAMDANI been watching my program, man. MAMDANI been watching my program, man. He went in on Cuomo on the sexual harassment. Let's get to Section 8. So a lot of people in the country depend on federal entitlement programs to pay their rent. So check this out. I've been thinking about people being homeless, but you know what I didn't think about? What about the homeowners who still got to pay the mortgage? Let's read. Section 8 officially, the Housing Choice Voucher HCV program is the largest federal rental assistance initiative helping about 2.3 million low-income households, including families, seniors, and people with disabilities, afford private market housing by subsidizing a portion of the rent, typically 30% of the income, administered by public housing agencies. Under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, it relies on an annual federal appropriation, similar to Cash Aid. This is why I brought this up. I thought it was relevant to tell the people what's really going on in the country right now. Other key HUD programs include project-based rental assistance, right? Project housing, public housing, operating fund, section 202-811 for seniors, disabled, and community development block grants, CDBG. The ongoing shutdown now in its fourth week, October 1st, poses risk, but most are buffered by pre-obligated funds. However, a prolonged impasse could lead to delays, shortfalls, or evictions starting in December. How many people have talked about this? No. We just want to do funny little jokes on TikTok. Did you hear what I said? Please write this down. Did you hear what I said? I said this could lead to evictions. Evictions. You know, YouTubers, sometimes they like to create, they want to do I don't do that. I don't want to create a whole hullabaloo. I just want to give you the facts and then tell you how the block grants are affected by government shutdown. TANF is a federal block grant. Section 8 is a federal block grant. And I am reading to you the facts. Prolonged shutdown could lead to delays, shortfalls, or evictions starting in December. I don't know how you were going to pay rent in December anyway if you're not getting cash aid in November. You're not getting cash aid in December, and it's a possibility that you won't get your Section 8 in December. How do you start the new year? We're going into 2026. Now the Democrats, I don't know if Chuck Schumer thought this all the way out, because if this lasts and this lingers into 2026, how do the Democrats come back from that in the 2026 elections? Because the Democrats currently do not have a majority in the House or the Senate, right? The MAGA Republicans have a mandate. The Democrats are praying to pick up seats, so much so Jasmine Crockett created a national campaign for 5 seats in Texas. Gavin Newsom is spending $200 million on seats in California. So what happens if this government shutdown results in people being evicted and lingers into 2026? Do you see people still buying into the Democrat BS? I don't. It's not the Democrats. Carl, come on, Carl. You look like a suspect in that photo, Carl. Who took that picture? Who took that picture, Carl? You look like a suspect in your thumbnail. Please tell me, Carl, why it's not the Democrats. People be coming in. Can you just listen or rewind the video? Current status for Section 8. All programs fully funded, operational with pre-fund contracts. Dispersed normally for October, November, secure through the middle of November. This is true with Cash Aid and Section 8. Cash Aid and Section 8 secure through the middle of November. December, high risk. This is the first time I've heard this. December, high risk. Funds could dry up, delaying payments, halting vouchers, and freezing inspections, applications. Landlords might cover shortfalls initially, but could evict or exit the program. At this point, maybe you didn't want to do Section 8 anyway. A lot of people get on have Section 8 houses and then get trapped in being a Section 8 landlord, and then they can't do anything until the person moves out and they destroy the property. This will give opportunities to Section 8 landlords who no longer want those particular tenants, because I don't want to be I don't want to make generalizations, but there's a trend with Section 8 that they destroy property, right? So a lot of people try to get them out and they can't get them out. This will be an opportunity for some Section 8 landlords to evict bad tenants, and not only evict bad tenants, but leave the Section 8 program. So I can foresee we have less Section 8 housing after the shutdown. Do you guys see how detrimental this really is? So we're saying WIC is going to be more stringent. We may have less women who qualify for WIC. And I am saying to you, we may have less people on Section 8 because the landlords may leave the program. This is very deep. Broader impacts and risks for tenants. No immediate evictions, but prolonged shutdown could spike housing instability. For example, landlords demanding full rent or exiting contracts, fair housing complaints, enforcement paused, new applicant frozen, ties to other aids. For landlords, reserves may cover shortfall, but HUD staff cuts 30%, slow processing FHA multifamily loans. So housing loans could be affected too. Oh, I saw that. Chris. I saw that. So it was a video where a woman who was a veteran, she's a military wife, and they were sold their house, and they were doing military funding, or federal funding for their new house, and they qualified, and they got the house, they got the money, but it didn't go all, when you buy a house, it takes like 30 days. The government shutdown came, and now they're in limbo because the funding they need to purchase the house has been put on hold. That's a real anecdotal story. Political context, what recipients and landlords should do. So let's get into the debate. MAMDANI versus CUOMO. MAMDANI confronts CUOMO on harassment in final NYC mayoral debate. In the final debate before the November 4th, 2025 New York City mayoral election, Democratic candidate Zoran MAMDANI directly challenged independent Andrew Cuomo on sexual harassment allegations discussed here on the Perfect Timing podcast from his governorship, with the accuser Charlotte Bennett in the audience. That was cold. He had the accuser in the audience. Woo! MAMDANI ain't playing. Republican Curtis Swilla criticized MAMDANI's public safety plan to send mental health experts to nonviolent 911 calls, while the candidates clashed over housing delays and responses to federal threats like deportations. MAMDANI leads polls by double digits, but over 50% of undecided voters could sway the race. So let's get to some highlights.
Always a pleasure.
Let's get to some highlights. From the debate, man. Now we're gonna have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. Let's get to the highlights from the debate.
Shame on you. Now, it is always a pleasure to hear Andrew Cuomo create his own facts at every debate stage. We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Governor Hochul.
You were leading the state for
Governor
10 years,
Hochul.
screwing the city.
No.
You cut homelessness funding. You cut funding for the MTA. You did all of these things, my
That's
friend.
the past 4 years. It's the past 4 years. Okay, on you. Shame on you.
It's laughable. Who told Cuomo he could run? This is laughable. Let's see what else we got, man. He's making a fool out of him, man. He's making a fool out of
your administration.
And he's running as an independent. Somebody said Cuomo maybe have a Trump endorsement. Can y'all look that up? Did Trump endorse Cuomo?
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration incredibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
Democrats, what you gonna do for 2026? This is so bad. This is so bad. I know a lot of people think that you're winning because MAMDANI is winning. You're not winning because MAMDANI is mayor. This is embarrassing for the Democratic Party because Cuomo was a leader in the Democratic Party as governor during COVID, during quarantine. This is a support reflection on the last administration and one of its party leaders. And MAMDANI, you're not helping the Democrats. You're not. You're just proving MAGA's point. This is MAGA's point. MAMDANI, you're working for me right now. You're working for me. This is a MAGA talking point. But I thank you very much. And let's hear from Cuomo. What does he say about those allegations, you creep? Let's hear from the creep.
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature.
What? What is that? Let's listen to this again, man.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature.
You hear that? No answer. No answer. No reply. That was sad. That was sad, Cuomo. Now, when I read my audience, it was 11 accusers, and now we hearing that it's 13.
I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything you're not talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly. And you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work, and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame on the Democrats. They two are the same. This is just great for MAGA. That's why I'm showing it today. Is this your king? Is this your king? This is great for MAGA. This is so great for MAGA. I love it. I love it. I love to see the Democrats just tear themselves apart. We don't even have to do any work anymore, MAGA. MAGA, we don't even have to do any work anymore, MAGA. Team MAGA in the building. The Democrats are doing it to themselves.
Is Tish gonna be your PC?
Can we spend Tish down?
Guys, we're gonna talk right at the end.
Did y'all see those SCIU banners? That's the union. Y'all see those?
Guys, we're gonna talk.
Is that the y'all see them union banners? Man, this boy got some backing. Y'all see them union banners, man?
It is always a
On you. Shame on you.
It is always always a pleasure to hear Andrew Cuomo create his own facts at every debate stage.
Yeah.
We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state.
We played that clip. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? This a different clip.
13 different women who worked in your administration.
We played that clip.
His endorsement. Mr. MAMDANI.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail.
Who is he talking about? Okay, this looks interesting.
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. MAMDANI.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
And final, a fun one.
Be careful. Be
Would-
careful.
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. MAMDANI.
No.
Mayor Adams, another Democrat.
On going after his political enemies, and he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the third piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the first and second piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers, I will fight him every single step of the way.
Okay.
Short rebuttal from Look, Donald Trump ran on three promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history. He ran on going after his political enemies, and he ran on lowering the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me about the third piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the first and second piece of that agenda at the expense of New Yorkers, I will fight him every single step of the way.
Oh, you sound like a clown, man. What's this right here?
Want to see this Curtis crowd out here, folks? Answer that. This is all Curtis enthusiasm. There's a handful of Zoom Amanda suckers and a handful of Cuomo people. A handful. There's your enthusiasm. All right, all you naysayers backing Cuomo, shame on you. Flip your energy to Curtis immediately. We got this. He's the only one that can win. Cuomo cannot beat MAMDANI.
My critiques of the politics of the past is right here on the stage. You can see in Andrew Cuomo someone who had 10 years to deliver on so much of what he's spoken about. He says that taking 5 years to build affordable housing is the sign of an incompetent government. By his own words, that means he must have led an incompetent government. That is what we are seeing, because that is the record that is actually on offer.
Yeah, go ahead. I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No.
Not if it's you.
In 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration.
Question.
If there was a ranked choice election, how would you vote? Mr. MAMDANI.
If there was a ranked choice
In
election,
this. You'd have to rank these.
myself number one and Curtis number two.
Mr. Sliwa.
Oh, please don't be glazing me. Here's all right. Are you kidding?
Mr. Sliwa, do you want to answer?
I support ranked choice voting, but I'd only vote for myself.
Mr.
Answer a straight question.
If there was a ranked choice election, how would you vote? Mr. MAMDANI.
If there was a ranked choice
In
election,
this. You'd have to rank these.
myself.
That was funny.
I've seen somebody get their ass whooped at a debate this motherfucking bad.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
Here's the bottom line. I don't know how anybody sees this clip and doesn't think that Zoran Mamdani, not only with this clip, but also the complete track record, how he's been talking, how he's been listening to New Yorkers, how he's been putting in that work to make sure that he earns the trust of every single community that he speaks to. I don't understand how you don't look at this clip and think that he is the fighter that New York needs, not only for New Yorkers, but against Donald Trump.
Not only for New Yorkers, but against Donald Trump. How's Mamdani going to be against Donald Trump when he's doing all of our talking points, man? These people be secret Republicans. He don't even sound like a Democrat, man.
Because that's all.
Let's listen to this. Did you hear about this? Mamdani says, if you are in danger, call 911. Dispatchers should first decide whether it's appropriate to send police. So if you're being mugged, assaulted, or your home is broken into, you'll have to wait while they assess if cops should come. They do that now, man. And I agree, man. Remember that girl got shot when she said, God bless you, and that cop shot her because she was having some mental health issues. Yeah, every time we don't need a police officer with a gun if it's a mental health.
What my opponents are clinging to is the past, because that's all that they know. What I am proposing is something that will address the needs of New Yorkers in the present. We speak and hear from New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs who outline how the mental health crisis is one of the major challenges in this city. And yet what we have in our city is asking those same police officers who are being asked to respond to shootings, respond to murders, to also respond to these calls. I trust the dispatchers who would be receiving these calls to make the determination as to whether there was any indication of violence. If there is no indication of a threat of violence, then we would set the mental health experts and providers to respond to those same incidents. The reason I believe in what my opponents are.
Let me know in the chat what y'all think about that. Let me know in the chat what y'all think about a mental health response team via 911, where police would not go to every call. Police would then come to
localities, and I allocated more.
Police would only go to, you know, if it was violent. They do that now because cities like Vallejo are bankrupt. Flint, Michigan is bankrupt. So I live in Northern California. When Vallejo went bankrupt, one of the things they told the citizens is, if you call 911, we don't have enough police. The highway patrol had to help patrol Vallejo. So highway patrol was acting as local police in Vallejo, California, because Vallejo was bankrupt and they could not pay its police officers, so they couldn't pay 911 operators. So when you call 911, they told you unless somebody is bleeding, no police were coming out. Y'all don't remember 911 as a joke? I called 911 a long time ago. Don't you see how late they reacted? They only come and they come when they want us. So get the morgue truck and bring out the goner. They don't care because they stay paid anyway. 911 is a joke. 911 is a joke. Y'all don't remember that? I called 911 a long time ago. Don't you see how late they reacted? They only come and they come when they wanna. So get the morgue truck and bring out the goner. They don't care because they stay paid anyway. Huh? They don't care because they stay paid anyway. 911 is a joke. So let me know in the chat what y'all think of Mamdani, man. Mamdani for mayor, man. What y'all think in the chat, man? What else I had, man? We talked about the government shutdown. We talked about Mamdani. I got ICE raid. So, you know, on this channel, we were predicting who was going to be next with the Operation Midway Blitz. So now we talking about the governor and the mayor in New York. And guess where Trump is next with Operation Midway Blitz? New York, New York. That's why I wore the pizza today. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wore the pizza for CUOMO. Oh my goodness. On October 21st, ICE and Homeland Security agents arrested 9 undocumented men from Senegal, Mali, Guyana, and Mauritania in New York City's Canal Street market for immigration violations and crimes such as counterfeiting, drug trafficking, robbery, and assault. The operation targeting counterfeit goods vendors led to immediate protests where crowds chanted against ICE and blocked streets. You would think these African vendors would have been closed down shop. But They still want to operate. They don't even supposed to be in the country, and you breaking a crime in broad daylight. You doing a crime in broad daylight. You ain't even supposed to be in the country, and you don't even shut down the illegal counterfeit markets. Okay. And then you want to cry and whine when somebody come arrest you. The New York police should have did this, and ICE wouldn't have had to do it. How many people agree with that in the chat? The New York police should have did this, and ICE wouldn't have had to do it. All right. So they're convicted. They are being charged with crimes such as counterfeiting, drug trafficking, robbery, and assault. The operation targeted counterfeit goods. You know, I hit that thing during the break. Got a little. You know, I hit that little thing during the break. Got it. Okay, I'm back. Got a little chap on my lips. Block streets. Okay. Immediate protests where crowds chanted against ICE blocked streets, resulting in brief arrests and 4 U.S. citizens for obstruction. Governor Kathy Hochul and New York Attorney General Letitia James, remember that name, SDNY, Letitia James being prosecuted by MAMDANI, criticized the tactics with James launching a portal for residents to submit evidence of ICE activities amid rising tension. Yeah, you better be careful, Letitia James, because MAMDANI already coming after you.
Where residents can send photos.
So let's see what Letitia James is talking about. Y'all know who Letitia James is, right? AG, SDNY, 36 felonies, Donald Trump, Letitia James. That Letitia James. Here she go. Mortgage fraud. Allegedly mortgage fraud. Allegedly. Her and Adam Schiff.
Attorney General Letitia James announcing a new portal where residents can send photos and videos of ICE operations. James says the portal is meant to review and investigate legal violations by agents, and her statement referenced Tuesday's immigration raid in Chinatown in New York City. Meantime, House Democrats say they will launch their own similar ICE tracker. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi criticizing that effort, citing a sharp increase in violence against law enforcement. Coming up later, this Attorney General Letitia James announcing a...
So remember we made jokes about this the other day. The Democrats want to waste your money on the ICE tracker to track federal agents like they don't know where they at. These are American citizens who work for the federal government. Wherever they at, they have a boss. The boss actually deployed them. They get a paycheck every 2 weeks. It is laughable that the Democrats, this is how much the Democrats don't have any policy, no direction. Do you understand what they're saying? ICE tracker is... It's like McDonald's coming up with a fry cook tracker. Like he's at the fryer. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need to track the fry cook if he's at work at the fryer? You're going to waste a bunch of money creating an app looking for the fry cook. No, the problem is not where the ICE agents are. The problem is where are the illegal immigrants? So the Democrats want to spend money on tracking citizens with their jobs when they're at work. Isn't that like communism? Or you want to track people who are American citizens when they're at work, finding out, and then you want to film them while they're at work. That don't sound very democratic and American, Letitia James. Democrats, it don't. And you want to do that instead when you could create an app. I said, why don't we tell the American people to work with ICE? Work with the National Guard. When I see ICE in my neighborhood, I'm going to say, hey, the illegal aliens are in 3B. You know what I'm saying? You got to work with them. I don't understand why everybody keeps saying the ICE-free zones. No, work with them. They're here to help us. The Venezuelan gangs came into Chicago, came into Aurora, Colorado, took over housing complexes with extortion and force. Now Trump's Midway Blitz and ICE and National Guard are coming to get those immigrant criminals out of Aurora, Colorado, out of Chicago, out of New York. And instead of getting in the way, how about you help them? How about you tell them, hey, the Venezuelan gang members from Trinidad and Tobago are down the hall in 3B. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work with the ICE. ICE, number one, ICE are citizens. They're American citizens. They're at work. They're federal employees, so we thank them for their service. Number two, National Guard. National Guard are everyday citizens who go to work every day and then volunteer. The National Guard are just like me and you. They have to go to work every day, pay their bills, and on top of that, they volunteer their time. The National Guard volunteers their time for the American people. So why would you be upset with the National Guard when they're just like you and all they're doing is volunteering to be proud Americans and protect you? Like, I don't understand why Democrats would not educate the people on who the National Guard really is. Hey, the National Guard is your son, the National Guard is your nephew, and their job is to volunteer once a month. How many people right now volunteer? Do you volunteer? Because I don't understand how you could be upset with National Guardmen who actually volunteer their time for the American people. I think it's unacceptable. I think it's absolutely unacceptable. Here we go. The boy Nick was out there, so Nick got some video from Canal Street.
You with your camera? Get the fuck out of here with that much.
So Nick got some video. Let's check this out.
Yo, what's up? We don't do no fucking camera. Fuck the fucking camera.
Hey.
Keep fucking pushing.
Hey.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Hey.
Back off. I said, fuck you with your camera. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Who the fuck you work for? Bitch ass nigga. Who the fuck you work for? Bitch, who you work for? Fuck you, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Yo, listen, you gonna get the fuck out of here.
Hey.
Back up. Get out of here with that shit. You gonna get fucked. Telling you,
Wait,
bro.
back up.
Back up over here.
Back up.
Get the fuck out of here. That's what y'all do, snitch ass motherfucker. Look at yourself in there.
Hey.
Take that shit somewhere else.
Hey, why are you mad at me?
Keep it pushing.
Why are you mad at me?
Take it over there somewhere else.
I am.
Yeah, you work for the fucking, who you work for?
By myself.
All right, get out of here. With
Look,
that
I just bought some Rolex.
That's right.
I just bought a Rolex.
What's a Rolex?
It's a fake one. It's a fake one.
It's a fake one. Go to the fucking store and get the real one. Get the fuck out of here with your cameras. Snitch ass motherfuckers. But what the fuck is y'all here for? This is how the fuck we eat. That's how the fuck we eat. So get the fuck out of here.
I'm leaving.
So get the fuck out of here.
Where you come from?
You get the fuck out of here. I come from your mother, bitch.
Really?
You, bitch.
No, you didn't.
Fuck out of here.
Why are you mad at us?
Go f***ing sex on
We can be here on the street. This is public street.
No, get the
We have
fuck
First
out of here,
Amendment.
nigga. This is our block, you bitch ass nigga. Get the fuck
This is
out
your
of
block?
here. Yeah, motherfucker. So somebody spank this motherfucker and take the camera away.
I can be here. I don't have anything to be worried about because I'm not doing anything illegally. You see what happens? People come in from other countries illegally. They get mad at you on the streets of the United States. Then they shouldn't be doing stuff illegally. Then they shouldn't be doing stuff illegally.
That's not your fucking business if you do legal.
Hey.
I will smash this bitch.
Hey.
And you fucking lost it.
Hey. All right, we're out. See what happens? That's the problem. If you just can't let this go on, people need to start standing on business. These people are selling illegally on the streets of New York City. Cameraman just got punched in the face. Took one for the team. He just took one cold right there. You just can't allow this to happen in the biggest city in the United States for people to be selling drugs. They're selling marijuana legally. That's why they're mad. Thing is, these people don't have papers. You guys heard of there? He said this is his block. It's not his block. He's here illegally. He doesn't even have papers to be here.
Wow. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that, man?
How much?
Yo, what's up? We don't do no fucking camera. Fuck the fucking camera.
Hey.
Keep fucking pushing.
Hey.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Hey. Back up.
I said, fuck you with your camera. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Who the fuck you work for? Bitch ass nigga. Who the fuck you work for? Bitch, who you work for? Fuck you, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, you gonna get the fuck out of here.
What y'all think, man? What y'all think, man? Tell me, man. ICE is in New York. The immigration raid's taking place live in Manhattan. This is huge. ICE is in New York.
Looking at it right now, and what we were told is the officers from the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement were seen detaining the individuals near Canal Street, near Church and Broadway on Tuesday afternoon. Over a dozen federal officers wearing vested red police federal agent were seen walking on the sidewalk in Lower Manhattan. with zip ties. The officers got in the car and left the area. The area normally has lots of street vendors, and now the streets are clear. As you can see that live shot going on right now, I wanted to bring you that because we were inside of that looking at it right now. And what we were told is officers from the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement were seen detaining the individuals near Canal Street, near Church and Broadway on Tuesday.
So now that same block where Nick was, that same block, Trump hit that block with ICE. They need, whenever you see Nick, you need to get out of Dodge. If you see Nick on your block, you need to get out of Dodge. That means ICE is on the way. If you see Nick on your block, you need to get out of Dodge, man. ICE is on the way. Let's check out this. We ain't gonna do the music. We ain't gonna do the music. So ICE is in New York. This is what it looks like right now in New York. I don't know if you heard about it. They raided Canal Street in New York. How many people familiar with the counterfeit vendors and the Africans on Canal Street? So ICE is in New York. Trump's Midway Blitz is in New York. They raided Canal Street. They made several arrests. They got some drugs. They got some guns. They got some felons off the street. Let me know in the chat what you think about Trump, Midway Blitz, and ICE in New York.
You guys gotta chill.
Let's see another video of ICE in New York. We got New York. We got Chicago. Where else is Portland?
You guys gotta chill.
This is ICE in New York. Shout out to Freedom News TV. Shout out to freedomnews.tv. This is ICE raids in New York. Right now, ICE in New York. You heard about ICE in Portland, Chicago, LA. Now we got ICE in New York. This is how they're reacting to ICE in New York. Do you see all these white women? Do you see all, you see all those white women? You see all those rich white women? ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! Did you see? I can't make it. I saw it. Did you see? ICE out now! ICE out now! What is going on in the country, bro? What's going on in the country? You can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up, bro. Oh my God. Oh man. So you want so I don't know what do you want, people? I mean, 10 million people came in here, not through proper process. The logistics wasn't there. 10 to 25 million allegedly. You had hotels in New York being paid out millions of dollars. New York is in a deficit. You can't afford it. Let's just be honest. Let's stop with the ICE out now. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Right now, I discussed in the first hour that the federal block grants are going to be on halt and people may get evicted. Citizens, American citizens are going to be facing eviction in December. You can't afford 10 million new immigrants in America without the proper logistics. This is what this is about. Dole said we can't afford the hotels. We can't afford $10,000 on EBT cards. Child care. I just read to you WIC is going to suffer after the shutdown. Child care subsidies for citizens. But the Democrats, the reason we're shut down is the Democrats want to extend things that we don't have enough money for. They want to extend these entitlement programs to the immigrants, to people who are not American citizens. They don't have enough money. We don't have enough money for entitlement programs for you. So I don't understand ICE out now, because it's not about these immigrants. They have a home to go to. It's not about racism. It's about resources. And I don't get why these white women are screaming ICE out now if they don't understand that America has limited resources. This is not about racism. This is about America, and it just to prove, because the Democrats don't educate the public. What do you mean limited resources? Well, the first hour I talked about the government shutdown and how everything stops in 30 days. That's what I mean by limited resources. The government, if the government is shut down for 30 days, everything stops. That's what I mean by limited resources, that we don't have. What Susie Orman says you should have 6 months saved up. Well, the American people don't have, the American government don't have 6 months saved up. So if the government doesn't open up in 30 days, you start to suffer. So that's what I mean by limited resources. Our resources are so limited that you're not getting EBT in November. You can't make this up. I know you want to argue against me, but you can't make this up. This is not about immigrants. This is about American citizens and the limited resources that are so limited that EBT is now halted for November, the holiday season. 42 million people are not going to get food stamps. Please explain to me how we get 42 million people $300 a piece a month for November and December, and take care of 10 to 25 million immigrants. That's the question, Democrats. It's not about us being racist. It's not about us not understanding America and the great immigration history of America. I talked about Ellis Island. The problem is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did it wrong. The problem is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, I think, purposely got it wrong, because we did mass immigration in America before. You have to build a facility, a processing facility, and we did it before, and we did it successfully before because we needed the immigrants. How did we do it? We created something called Ellis Island. Who knows about the Statue of Liberty in New York? The Statue of Liberty in New York. When we did mass immigration in the past, we understood logistics, and that we could not just bring people into the country, because at the time there was a smallpox epidemic. Just like now we have a COVID epidemic. So how dangerous was it for Biden to open the borders post-COVID, right? What was you trying to do? Kill Americans? Because when we did immigration before, you had to go through Ellis Island and get processed, and most of the immigrants got sent to quarantine because of smallpox. They didn't just get to come into the country and get American citizens sick. That would defeat the purpose of bringing them here. What happened with the immigration in 2022 and 20? So children got separated from their families. Now, no one ever asked, why did children and how did children get? Well, pregnant women came across the border. Children came across the border, just like Vito Corleone came across to Ellis Island. The difference is we had a processing facility, right? So when Biden opened the border, there was no doctors, right? There were no operating rooms. There was no one to give birth. So if you've been traveling from South America, do you remember the caravans? If you've been traveling from South America for 6 months and you were pregnant and you didn't tell anybody because you want your baby to be born in the United States, how did we handle that? How were we prepared when we opened the border? See, in Ellis Island, we were prepared. We had doctors. Vito Corleone saw a doctor. Immediately after being processed, finding out who he was, what his name was, he went to see a physician, right? To protect America. Why didn't Joe Biden, if we have an example, why didn't Joe Biden or your border czar Kamala Harris follow the example set by America and create a processing facility to protect us from all of these issues? This is why we're at this problem, huh? And limited resources. Section 8 is in trouble. Food stamps for November already gone. Cash aid, TANF, is already going in November for some states and delayed in others. Tell me, if we don't have enough money to take care of American people for 30 days when the government shuts down, how do we have enough money to take care of 10 million to 25 million immigrants? This is a logistic nightmare. This is a logistic nightmare, and Biden and Kamala created this problem. Straight up. Man, I want to say thank you to everybody for watching, man. We had a fire show today. Fire show today. Share the information, share the channel, double tap, hit the like button. Thank you for everybody who hit the super chat. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. On the way out, double tap, hit the like button, double tap, hit the like button, double tap, hit the like button. If you're watching on a cell phone, on your top right-hand corner, you'll see 3 dots. That's called an ellipsis. If you hit that ellipsis, it'll give you the opportunity to like the video. If you're watching on your cell phone and you see the thumbs up next to the number of people watching, go ahead and hit right there. That'll give you the opportunity, because I know it's difficult to hit the like button on the cell phone. Everybody doesn't know how to hit the like button on the cell phone. It's different for every cell phone, but you're always going to have those 3 dots in the upper right hand corner called an ellipsis. That ellipsis will give you choices to go ahead and hit the like button and to subscribe. Join the channel. When you subscribe, you'll get a plus sign. I would like you all to subscribe and join the channel so you can be part of the conversation, be part of the debate. I see the trolls coming in late as I get up out of here. Please get your last minute derogatory statements in. Get your last minute derogatory statements in, you know what I'm saying? The cowardly trolls always come out when there's no more fight. When the fight's over, you see how they rush they rush in. Come on, like little Scrappy and Scooby-Doo, you know what I'm saying? So this is your last chance to get in your negative comments and stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate you. God bless America. God bless Trump. God bless everybody watching right now. I want to send out a prayer and love and thanks to everyone. And this is a serious topic, cash aid, food stamps for low-income individuals. I've been there before, me and my single parent. So you see me getting choked up. This is not a joke. I just wanted to share information and let people know how serious it is, and that it's no longer a TikTok video. It's a reality. And we're going to talk about it more. And I hope that they open the government, I hope we can come back tomorrow with a clean CR pass, I don't want people to go hungry. And the funny part is, if they open up the government tonight, it's still going to be delays in November. Still going to be delays in December. Chuck Schumer, what was this all about? I gotta ask, Chuck Schumer, what was this all about? Y'all have a good day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Perfect Timing Podcast. You're watching the top of the mid-morning podcast from an OG perspective. I'm the OG. Salute.